Okay, as I promised, I'm not going to kidding you. This is the exact things I developed today. I call a smart model evaluator. So I will open this project and I will give you a very beautiful demo. Now, before that, I will delete some of the scripts because you will see the magic later on. Now, the output will be providing you some smart analysis, very professional looking, but the most important one is to have some the recommendations for your regressions or any type of models, and these provide all detailed hypothesis modeling suggestions. Now again, these are the one through the output, so I delete it and I will show you what it will be like in real time. I have dropped a two prompts which I will feed into my assistant, or let's say AI, and I have my raw data. Now all you need is have your research idea. Now it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be start with what is title, what is your core research question, and at this stage what will be your hypothesis you have at this stage. Once you have that ready and you need to prepare with your your ready data for analysis. And one more thing which I will mention about later is you need to understand your key variables very well in your data, and you need to draft a list of the key variables you want looking at. Now let me explain this way. What AI or what automation can do for us is it can simulate, or it can multitasking the same thing multiple times simultaneously. Okay, let me put this way. We can do trial and error one by one, and we can do that manually. And I believe this is a traditional way of doing research. When we test the model, we change the variables, we test variables to see which variable can give us beautiful 1, 2, 3 starts, right? And if we couldn't get the ideal result, we change another variables and to see if it fits in. And once we get ideal result, we figure out what kind of story we can explain or we can interpret from there. Now, this is traditional way, fair enough, but since we have our powerful friends, without breaching any ethical issues, we can ask our friends to, let's say, to create hundreds of or thousands of models simultaneously, by replacing the models, and then to test the result and to see which one give us a more favorable result. Now, this could be sounds a little bit dodgy, but there could be another elegant way is by feeding or by telling our assistant what we want to achieve, what is our questions in our mind, and what do we have here as the key variables. Our amazing friend, the AI assistant, will very strategically looking at all these available or recommended variables, and to see if that matches with the research questions and what will be the most likely the equations. You still need to form your research questions, you still need to form your hypothesis, right? So you need to put your human intelligence inside, and then you will ask a big favor for your friends, the AI, to do these simulations, or you can say to do these automations. Now, I will stop about these explanations, but what we'll try to achieve is to feed these feed our friends with necessary informations, and then it would generate the recommended models. And once we have a model and let's say compositions ready, the next step is to create a dedicated scripts. I'm more comfortable with the R script. Of course, you can use in Python to do all these statistics analysis, but for a person like me, I do like R for most of statistics analysis. I would ask my powerful friends to generate based on the variable compositions to generate a beautiful R script, and then I can do analysis. And then lastly is to give me a quick response and recommendations or suggestions to see if my assumption or research idea has been, practically sound or statistically sound, right? It's all about try and test. Okay, I'm done with the talk, so let me show you in real time. Okay, now pretty much everything's empty. So this is the expected result. I will delete this so that you will see what will be. This will also be deleted. So it may take a couple of minutes. First of all, let me run this. Okay, so when I execute the script, it says please provide your data file. Well, I have my data file here. If you're familiar with all these IDEs, you should know, or depends on the system, either you can drag, if in the same folder, you can simply drag into it. If it's different folder, you need to copy the path. Okay, this is my target data file. So I have copied the path, and then I paste here. Okay, this is where the location of my data file. Good. Next is to feed the prompt. The prompt is the instruction to your assistant. Now here I have a prompt, which is the model generator. I ask my friends to, to help looking at all these data, structure and variables, and to see if there's any good variables you can help to form a form for analysis. Now the next is to tell the assistant what is your research idea. Now this is something you need to prepare in advance. I wrote in a markdown format, so MD format, and since in the same folder, I just simply drag into here. Okay, so I tell my assistant, this is my research idea, this is my assumptions. I want you to help me to test these ideas. Enter. Now, as I mentioned, next my assistant want to look at what are the recommended variables. As I mentioned, or as I emphasized, you need to really understand the structure of your data. So in my case, I understand these are the key variables I need looking at from the Bloomberg, right? And I do have that in my data file, as you can see here. So these are the variables. So I have organized them into a list. Okay, so I just again copy the path and paste it here. Now, this is another important one because I want the output to be structured. And if you recall, in one of the videos I mentioned in the past, a better structured output would be using JSON file. So I created this configuration, modeling configurations. It's suitable for majority of models, such as what are the independent variable, what are the dependent variable, what are control variables, and any other options. So it simply just fit into this. So drag this into here, in the terminal, and boom. Now wait for my assistant to understand the data, to understand the ideas, and then generate the recommended model compositions. Now I'll give a few minutes for it to think. Now while it's processing, you might argue that is it cheating that they use AI to do all this work? Well, as I said, you need to be knowledgeable in your topic before you can assign the task to your AI assistant. Now, at the end of the day, it is up to you which model to use, right? You're not using AI to generate out of nothing, out of nowhere. You have provide clear instructions, and all you need to do is have someone who is as knowledgeable as you, or even more knowledgeable than you, give you some suggestions. You get inspired, and then you get an idea and you test it, right? So in my case, I have proposed 3 hypotheses, and I have the rough idea based on the literature and based on the data structure. So I tell my assistant, please look at these research questions and hypotheses and look across those data. Which one do you think is more reasonable to put into the equation? Now, I'm not asking my AI assistants to run this analysis at this stage, because I need to go through them by myself. I need to look at the recommendation to see if it's reasonable. And then at the end of the day, you need to also intervene if something seems not reasonable. Okay, now it processing into the hypothesis 3. Now, as you can see, these are all the structure output in the JSON format, and it provides you these according to my assistant. These are the required variables, okay, and does it require to create any lag or lead variables? If yes, 1 day or 1 year, 2 year, 1 day, 2 day, depends on the nature of your variables. Okay, and then you will create accordingly. Now, for other hypotheses, it runs similar. It just understand the context, okay, and then it will provide or create a list of potential models for you. Okay, it's done, finished, and you can see the folder here created 6 models. Again, it appears like a unstructured one, but it is indeed a structural modelings for you. So for example, this is for hypothesis 1 to test performance. It relates to the disclosure. Performance will be financial performance, and these are the required variables which should correlate very well with my original data. So I need to ensure I have all these variables here, ticker, year, and all other variables. So they should be there accurately. Okay, now if you need to go through these, and of course it provides you a recommendations, or let's say the documents, you can read that to see if these models seems reasonable to you. If you need to do some leading or lagging for any of the variables. Once you complete this, the next step is to, now, as mentioned, it depends on which model you're familiar. Which language you're familiar. If you're familiar with the Python, you can go on, continue with the Python for data analysis. But if you're more comfortable with R, then this will be my next step is to generate or create R script. Now, this one doesn't rely on any AI. It's just simply by looking at these model details, and by capturing what are these key variables, what the nature of them, are they independent or dependent variables, and then simply create it for me. So at the moment I have no R script here, but I have the generator. So when I run this, it says, please tell me which folder contains all this JSON file. So you can see this is a folder. So I just simply drag this folder here. Boom. Okay. What is your data file? I go back to here. I need to again copy the path. And so I just paste it. So again, tell them what is my data. And you can see in a matter of seconds, it generate and create all these 6 models for me, right? And it contains all the necessary information, such as where's my data locates, and what are the key variables, and what are the required library or package. Now, what I can do here is to simply execute it here. Again, do you want to close this file now? Yeah. Okay. So this is the step 3. So this is what just been generated. All I need to do is you can do the testing line by line, but I'm lazy. I'm just simply run all together. Oh, So there's some issue here. Okay, let me fix it. Okay, that was a little bit incident. What I realized the issue is, okay, I'm gonna put here. As you can see, the model can be very different. I forgot to add into those leading, if you, instead of lag, you may also need to lead by a few years to do the to design your models. So I made those changes, and then let me run again. So create. So please feed your folder with this file, and then your data file to here. Done. Now this is the new and updated R script, as you can see here, 652. Now I double click, open that in my RStudio, and now let's just try and run. Wow, you see the result has been instantly prepared, and it is beautifully presented here. Now don't worry, don't panic if you don't know where the result is. Back to the folder here, everything's be sorted, so it will automatically save into the result folder. And since you have 6 models, or I have 6 models here, it beautifully laid out here, 6 models, and you can now you can quickly look at if these variables, independent variables, shows any beautiful 1, 2, 3 stars. Now, by experience, you can quickly identify which model may be useful, or you can tailor and test and change all these model compositions by all means. But if you finish this step 3, the last step is also a magical one, is to give you a quick, let's say, let your assistant to quickly give you a comment so that you can simply evaluate based on comment. Now I call it as a smart modeling analyzer. So what you'll do here is simply run this code and ask you where is the result folder, okay, which is here. So I just click the flow folder, drag it to here, and the research context, okay, which will be your research ideas. So this is my research context. I simply drag here. And where do you want to save it? The output, okay. Do I have the output? Okay, I say model analysis. This is my output folder. So this is where I want to save the comments from my assistant. Instructions. Okay, I should name it as a prompt. So what is your specific instructions, which I have written here? So I'll provide all these, detailed instructions. Let's say informations to my assistant. Same as if you have your research assistant, you will tell your assistant what to, the menus, the tasks, the guidance, and then do the similar way. I write them into a document and let my assistant know. Okay, as you can see, it starts to analyze the result and to compare with the initial research idea. Now, to ensure the accuracy, I emphasize in the script to review 2 times and compare with the results, matching the result with actual, the models, and then ensure there's the accuracies. So we'll go through 2 or 3 rounds, and then once everything's been verified, it will be saved over this folder. Now, okay, it's thinking again, second round. You can see the thinking process is very powerful. That's what I like the assistant, that it's act as if it is a human with a proper reasoning logics, and it really saves me time because if applied to human, we will also think similarly. And all I need my assistant to do is to do some repetitive task, right? To verify the numbers. If any figures is showing statistically significant, please highlight this and structure into a proper table, and then relates to the result, the variables and dependent variables, and relates to my original hypothesis and the research questions. Again, applied a common logic to interpret the result. Okay, in a matter of 2 minutes, it's done. So this is the this is the So this is the result, and now I think this is really good output. Now you can quickly go through to see if your hypothesis is being supported or rejected. In this case, unfortunately, the recommended models has all been failed in analysis, has been rejected, and provide reasons. And then these are the key, output, significant output that from generated from the result. Well, I have to say none of them are our main target variables, but that's fine. It also gives a more detailed, let's say, technical details and why this is the case that not being sure, not supporting your hypothesis. So this is also a good indicator that you need to change the model compositions, change the variables until you have to go deeper to see these individual variables to see if they make sense, right? If at the end it still couldn't get any expected result, that's fine. This is part of research, and I believe for the experienced scholar like you in front of the camera, you may experience hundreds of thousands of times of not showing or not finding relevant or meaningful results. And then we need to move on, and we need to figure out if there's other variables we can borrow or we can create it, or other index we can create it. And I think that's part of the fun things about doing research. And I hope these smart model evaluator, which I call this, can give you a different view on how to use the proper assistant that we call AI assistants to help you think and help you process your research more efficiently. Now, having said that, myself is not being a very productive scholar, but I like to spend my time, or let's say waste my time, to dig in this out. So thanks for watching, and in the coming days, I will probably provide more new magic tools to share with you, and see you next time. Ciao.